everyone, this is Steve Weintraub with Collider. I'm here at our media center at South by Southwest at the Cinema Center. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just going to say thank you for tuning in, and I'm super happy to be able to talk to you guys about I Really Love My Husband. First of all, congrats at being at South by Southwest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
So I hate doing this, but no one watching this interview will have seen the movie yet. So how have you been describing it to people?
I Really Love My Husband is a movie about a woman who goes on her delayed honeymoon to an island in Panama and becomes disillusioned by her people-pleasing golden boy husband. And instead of doing anything about sort of dealing with her issues, she instead convinces him that they should seduce the rental host, a free-spirited expat who lives on the island.
Yeah, that you did very well with that.
Honestly, we practiced it, and this is the first time we've gotten to say it in any of the interviews.
I think that was great.
I was
going to
say, yeah, like it was really, really well done, because some of the other people that have come in, it's sort of like, wait, you need me to describe the movie? And it's sort of like a mishmash of things, but that was rock star.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Gold stars.
Right. So what was it like? I'm just jumping into another thing.
I love it.
What was it about this story and material that said, yeah, I need to make this?
I knew I wanted to like take a big swing, and I knew a superpower that I had is access to this location in Panama where I grew up going. My stepdad lived there for 16 years and is actually the inspiration for the character Paz. And I also had collaborated with Madison on a couple of sketches, and we made this short film that Madison wrote and acted in called Yes Daddy. And some folks on the team, including Ryan Thomas, our DP, and Christina O'Sullivan, our editor, we were like, there's something really good happening here. And Scott Monahan, who was the actor and helped us develop the character, drew. And then finally we got a producer attached, Elle Roth Burnett, and I was like, okay, it feels like we have all the things here to make a movie, so like, let's do it. I thought it was going to be like a tiny micro budget mumblecore thing with like just those people I listed, and then it became this much bigger thing. And so that was like the origin of it. It was just like, this is a good thing that we should just go for.
So I'm pretty sure I figured out how you got involved. So I'm just going to move for a quick second and say, for the two of you, what was it about the script and material that said, oh yes, I want to do this?
Yeah. Well, for me, the script had like really clear intentions from the characters, and the characters were very well developed and very clear conflict, like massive conflict. And so I knew that would be a compelling story if executed well. And I saw their Yes Daddy film, and I had a lot of faith that they could make films, you know? And the script was wonderful to read, and I enjoyed it. And so I was going to go to Panama, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I also loved the script from first read. Also, I feel like we don't often come across a character like Paz, who plays with gender identity and queerness. And I personally, just stepping into the industry, have had trouble finding roles that I feel comfortable playing that aren't very much like soccer mom or man with beard or what, like of that sort. So I felt seen, and I felt I was really happy knowing that there is a character out there that I would be able to play and that I could bring to life.
I am so curious with Travis. Was it his portrayal of, I believe it was Johnny Ramone on vinyl, that got him this role?
You know, it wasn't. I hadn't seen that portrayal yet, but it was a delight. Actually, I rewrote some elements of the character, Drew playing guitar, after I saw that Travis could play guitar. I was like, well, we got to maximize on this talent.
Yeah, I was just messing around. You know, I really do like digging deep and, you know, pulling out random references. But so I am so curious, and I don't know how much you did, because this is what I'm asking, but like I read that you were involved in the writing.
Yeah.
So what was it actually like when, you know, like in the writing process, knowing that you're not going to have like tons of money to make this, what was it actually like, you know, figuring out the story, what you wanted to accomplish, and trying to be able to write it, knowing the limitations of the schedule you would have and the budget that you would have?
Well, what's hilarious, one of my favorite things about working with Gigi is she listens to my best ideas and she completely ignores my worst ones. And I pitched that actually when the three of us have a threesome, we switch bodies and that be the story. And Gigi was like, that will make it so much more complicated. Why don't we just do it as the human story that we have there?
Let's do that for the next
That's the
movie.
sequel. Yeah,
That's
they're
the
going to
sequel.
trade bodies. And so I think the limitations provided definitely a focus for the story. And yeah, it allowed us to actually explore more very simple moments through the use of improv and workshopping the characters through really getting it on its feet and acting it out, and then taking that session and transferring that to the script.
Yeah, so we did all of that rehearsals in California, knowing that we would not be able to be like exploring in the same way when we were in Panama, because we only had 11 days to be shooting the most of the movie. Wait, there's something else. Oh, in terms of like the locations, because I had been to Bocas del Toro before, I was like, let's write for these locations that I know exist. So shout out to BB's on the Beach and Coquitos, which are these like amazing restaurants that are actually where expats and people from Bocas and Panamanians who are vacationing there and locals all come together to have a piña colada.
True or false? You two took the movie purely because it was a vacation in Panama.
Trolls. Yeah,
Completely
the
false.
vacation element of it was so cool until we got on a plane that was the size of a toy plane and I started to panic.
And she broke my hand as she was squeezing it deathly tightly.
I had just met him and I was like, I'm so sorry, but I'm terrified and I have to grab onto like really a lot.
For life.
And then he was like, don't worry, I know how to fly planes. And I was like, that can't be true. And he's like, it is. And it is true. He was like, if the plane goes down, I literally know how to pilot a flight.
Of that size plane.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah,
Yeah.
there's no
Not a
737.
No.
Got it. So how small
Small.
was this plane? Was it a propeller plane?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's not for me.
terrifying. Well,
Yeah.
and I mean, no, actually, I won't say that.
So I'll switch completely.
Yes.
So one of the things that I do think that filming in Panama really adds to the film, because you're not on a soundstage, you're not in like the normal locations you always see in a movie. So what was it actually like trying to accomplish everything in those 11 days? Because also by being on location, there's nature, you have only so much light, and 11 days is not a lot of time to do a movie.
It's so interesting. One of the biggest surprises was how much we were chasing the light, and having to move the schedule around. That we had, every moment, every minute was scheduled out. And we had an extensive prep period, and our line producers are based in Panama. And we also had team members who are based in Panama. They actually have a very robust film industry there. And so we got to take advantage of that, but we also had to be quick to pivot because it's a place that will sort of burst into rain. And in those moments of having to pivot and we got everything we needed, but we'd also find these amazing moments during blue hour and really had to take advantage of that. And I remember one particular moment where we had one day where we were shooting on boats because of the budget, boat day. And I was kind of getting into the mode where I was like, we need to just keep going. And our DP, Ryan Thomas, turned to me, and as we're wrapping, and we had one more shot that we maybe needed to get in. It was a boat to boat shot. And it's Travis as Drew riding in this boat, shooting from another boat. And I was like, I don't think we need that. And then Ryan Thomas said, we'd be dummies not to get it. We're in Panama. And I was like, you're right. Let's get it. And thank God, it's iconic. So yeah, the production value of being there in such a beautiful place, it definitely shows on the screen.
So you see the shooting schedule, you got 11, 12 days, whatever it is that you got to get all these things. For each of you, what day or scene did you have circled in terms of, I can't wait to film this? And what scene was how the F are we going to film this?
Oh, I'm gonna go first on that one. Shroom trip was probably my favorite. That was
Yes.
I was like, I've never tripped before, and I just gotta tap in, and that was all right, let's be method actors. And then actually, I can't even. What's so funny, guys?
We weren't really tripping.
No, not
just so
actually
you know.
tripping. No, the trip
when
scene.
people say method
Yeah.
and acting, that means like you really did it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we
and we
weren't.
didn't
Oh
do
no,
it
we really
when we
didn't.
shot
No, we
the
really
scene.
didn't do it.
We never
I was like,
did
that's
it.
pretty impressive.
No, we
While
really
tripping
didn't do
balls
it.
and actually filming this.
Not while the camera was rolling.
No, method acting was actually the wrong term.
Right, yeah.
But I did tap in. I tapped into that.
tapped in.
Yeah.
the
And it was
method of
believable.
acting.
It was believable according to the audience. And I don't know if I can actually say what part I was most worried about. So,
You could say it in a vague way. You could say it in a vague way. Try it in a vague way.
And code. Or not code.
Was it an emotionally vulnerable scene?
no, it was physically intimate.
Well, you
Try
could
it in
speak-
gibberish.
No, I think like, you've already said that things happen in this movie between characters.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay.
Okay, so I think because we became very close as friends and almost offset became like a sibling connection between us, I think making out with both of them was really rough. Hated every second of it. Oh my God.
Did you suggest them to like actually take some mouthwash?
I said, brush your teeth and
Thank you.
fucking take some mouthwash and meet me outside
And meet me outside.
and bang my line.
We were chasing after it with the camera. It wasn't
No,
gonna
honestly,
happen.
because you don't realize how,
Well,
sitting there and making out with someone and there's like 20 people looking at you.
We had to keep retaking it.
And
'cause Arta would
retaking
go,
it.
Ugh, gross.
I was just dry heaving.
To your credit, I feel like you guys were so. It was like I think we got that in 3 shots, and it's one long shot where we're like really letting that scene
We were
go
relieved.
in.
Yeah, it was like
you were
one-
locked in. You were tapped in.
Yeah.
Tapped in. So yeah, that was one that I was like overthinking about and just like thinking about how it's gonna be like visually perceived.
Yeah, by the
on
way, I've
camera.
heard this from tons of actors. It's like it's
Yeah.
very I mean, I've never done it, but everyone says like you're sitting in front of a huge amount of people
Yeah.
and you're being intimate, but like it's pretend, but it's still
Right.
you're still doing it.
Yeah,
Like it's all of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it for me.
Yeah, the scene that I was looking forward to the most for kind of a different reason was the Secret Island scene. And the reason, it was also the scene that didn't terrify me, but the one that I just wanted it to be as great as it could be with everybody involved, because it's a very important moments. And but the reason why I was looking forward to that the most is because I wanted to get through that and then finish the rest of the movie. You know, it's the one that I think we focused on a lot. Madison and I did because of the demands of the script. So yes, and the scene that I was, it's the same scene. It's the same scene. That's the scene that I was, the most. Not dreading, but I knew what we had to accomplish as a team.
Sure.
Yeah, Secret Island was definitely our Goliath, I feel like. And we, every night, no matter what our sides were the next day, we would make sure to go over Secret Island just because we really wanted to do service to that moment and the story. And then I think, as my castmates and director know, any scene that took place in a boat was my favorite. I love being on a boat. And if I could do the movie again, I'd be on a boat in every scene.
The Bocas Express.
The Bocas Express
is our full boat all shot on
Yeah.
next movie. I want to call out Secret Island because obviously it's something that had to deliver. And
Do you want to sort of tell people who are watching without revealing what happens on Secret Island why it was
Secret Island.
important scene?
Secret Island is where Paz clearly goes to bring special people for some special reasons, and it's something that is sort of planted in the beginning, and you kind of have to watch the movie.
100%. I just want to give some context.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
But it's an island that nobody knows about, and it's impossible to get to unless you know, and it's beautiful. And we actually shot it on a separate island. It's the only place that we went outside. And I have to credit our producer, L. Roth Burnett, who helped us scope out 2 different locations and execute a a day of shooting where we turned it into a closed set after bringing over all the gear and everything we needed to be present on the island, which we all needed to be. And it was really kind of this like magical protected space because of the work that the team did to give us that space to be present. So I was like, are we going to be able to pull this off? And then being able to be there in this space. Actually, when I was my boat ride over, we saw dolphins on the way over. So I was like, well,
like I said, vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
You can come next time for
Thank
Bocas
you.
Express.
For the
boat movie.
No,
Yeah.
for the where everyone switches
Secret
bodies.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that is the boat movie too.
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry. I
Whose
didn't realize.
body would you want to switch with the most?
Such a good
Well, first of all, I'd be watching as a reporter, so I'll just let you guys do it.
You're
And-
your same role.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm always the person sitting on, and ruining take from laughing. You know,
It will happen.
we will do that too.
So you improvise.
Yes.
And I read was reading and there's the Chevy Chase moment.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What is, for people that don't realize, what's the Chevy Chase moment of this movie?
I call it the Chevy Chase moment. Is the moment where Teresa goes on her angry monologue about something Drew does to piss her off early in the film, and a waitress is present for this entire monologue, which Teresa is giving to her instead of her drink order. And I call it my Chevy Chase moment because my family and I grew up watching Christmas Vacation, and his moment where he gets the Jelly of the Month club instead of a check, and he goes on his Chevy Chase monologue. I told Gigi, I was like, my dream in life is to be able to do a Chevy Chase monologue but not in his real personality.
Sure.
His personified character in Christmas Vacation, to be clear. But I guess it could probably apply for both. But yeah.
I'm pushing off of improvisation. I'm always curious about the editing process because it's all refined, it's all figured out and made or broken. So what was it like after you got a cut you're happy with, you show it to friends and family? Did you want to jump out the window, or were you like, oh, these notes I can do this?
I love iterating and working through notes and getting feedback a lot at different stages, because I feel like that, like one of the first things I did after 3 weeks after getting the editor's first cut and working with Christina O'Sullivan to in the edit, we brought over our neighbors and did a screening, and that's when I could sense that things were clicking and moments that weren't working. And actually, I do want to speak to the improv in the Chevy Chase moment, because like we had the written monologue, but then sometimes you just have to let Madison do her thing. And as you can see on Collider.com, which exclusively released our clip, which is the Chevy Chase moment. We had to carefully craft, like it could have gone off the rails even further, but there's this one line that she improvised, which is like, she's like, he's like a people pleasing, he's a golden boy, he's perfect. Even my mom has a crush on him, and she doesn't even like me that much. And that was like an improvised thing. So when we're crafting that monologue, we were able to pull these like off the cuff things that like you can really only find in the moment. That I loved, and I love that discovery process.
Did you end up making like any big changes in the edit, or was it a lot of like small things?
After our first editing phase, we locked everything from the 25% mark till the end, and then we waited on the beginning. I was like, I need to take a break. I need some space. We also need to figure out how to like lock this in, that it's Teresa's perspective. And so we ended up cutting down a lot of them getting to the island, and then adding the opening scene, which was Madison's idea, which perfectly, I think, puts us in who Teresa is, what's going on, etc.
I hate asking like a generic thing like this, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I apologize. For all four of you, what are you most excited for audiences to experience, like with the film?
Who wants to go first?
You guys go.
Travis?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'll think about it for a minute. Yeah.
I like throwing curveballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's curveball.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
No, please.
No.
Please, you go.
I think one thing that I really loved about the story, reading it, was I found myself laughing at a lot of circumstances, and then it went from that to like, oh, ouch, like the struggles and all the conflict, and then sometimes right after you would laugh again, and then at the end, I think everything just lands in a really in a way that I really respond to in the type of movies that I like. I think this movie asks questions rather than just lays everything out, and it involves the audience a lot more. And so I hope people take that away and leave thinking about it and asking themselves these questions, and how do they identify with the characters individually, or a little bit of all, as I do. I mean, there's a Drew, a Teresa, and a Paz, I've experienced all of that, so that's my answer.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Gigi crafts a really unsuspecting story that is so exciting. When I was watching it with an audience for the first time, I was like, oh, they don't know yet that this kind of has like an emotional weight that's going to creep in right at the end. And I think that's one of the most fun parts of the movie is like, we're on an island, we're dancing, there's, we're having a threesome. And then it kind of drops into this more real place that I think is the heart of the movie. And I'm really excited for audiences to get to experience that and the discussion that will come as a result.
Yeah, great.
I'm excited for audiences to get to know the talent in this movie. I mean, what the hell? Madison Lanesey, Travis Quentin Young, Arta Gee, Lisa Jacqueline Starrett. Like, I feel spoiled because these folks are so talented and just leave it all on the court in a way that is really powerful. And I just want to see them in more movies. So that's what I hope everyone takes away. So I hope some casting directors are watching.
And Arta?
I want to shout out two important people, Jennifer and our casting director and wardrobe stylist, Alabama Blonde, for trusting me and bringing me into this audition and trusting that I will perform somewhat on my first feature film.
On that note, I'm just going to say I am so happy for you guys. I hope it's a lot of people get to see it, and congrats on being part of South by Southwest. It's really awesome. And anyone who's watching, please tune in to Collider for more interviews, and you guys have a fantastic fest.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.